Man, Brett, listen. Survivor Series 2020, absolute garbage. But you know what I did like? The ending to the Women's Survivor Series match. A+ rating.
That was the worst ending.
What are you talking about?
Stupid.
Dude, listen, you are dumb. Because they did something no one expected. There was a swerve, bro.
You're getting a little aggressive out of the box.
Listen. I'm passionate about Lana being the sole survivor. Winning the match for her team because that's the way it should have went.
How'd she win? Tell us.
She was on the apron, waiting for the tag, standing on the steps like she was told to do, and boom. She didn't even need to be tagged. Why? Because Nia Jax was eliminated and counted out. Because Bianca Belair flipped her over the top.
So Bianca Belair won it?
No. She was counted out too.
I know she was counted out, but she did the hard work.
No. Listen.
So what you're telling me is
Lana was the winner.
What you're explaining to me is Bianca Belair flipped her over. They both got counted out. She did all the hard work. So the people, the woman that has been slammed through a table and been told that she's not good enough to help them and she doesn't deserve to be there, accidentally won from somebody else's work.
She didn't accidentally
win. Is that what you...
She did not accidentally win. She capitalized on the mistakes of the other team.
She wasn't even paying attention.
Yes, she was. She was standing right there waiting for the tag. Listen, I don't understand why you're so upset because they did what they were supposed to do. They made a super baby face out of her.
No, she's not.
Yes, she is.
Still not good enough to help them.
Did you not hear the pop? Did you not see the circumstance that was done for her? The people love Lana. And they love her because, you know what? She stood up to the bullies. She forcefully tagged herself in to wrestle the match. And she did quite well.
No, she did. When she was told to get out, she got out and stood on the steps and cried.
She drug her over to get a tag. And then they said, get on the steps.
She stood there and cried.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. She's been bullied the past 2 months, Brett. And you know what? No one likes a bully. People have sympathy. People have sympathy for those who are bullied. It's kind of like why people like you. You've been bullied your whole life. You are Lana. They told you to go stand on the steps at T-ball practice, and you did.
You know why I didn't get bullied? Because I said, no, shut up.
Listen.
And
Lana,
because I was always good enough to help my team.
Listen.
I didn't stand there to accidentally
Lana
get
was
it done.
good. She was the only one on that team that actually earned her spot by winning a match. The WWE did right. They made a baby face out of her.
Take us through that match she won.
Do what?
Take us through the match she won.
The match she won doesn't even matter.
Take us through the match she won.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. She won the match.
Yes, it does. You said you just said let me.
What?
You just said she was the only one to win a match to make it on the team.
Yeah, it doesn't. And
everyone
else was just chosen.
How did she win?
Everyone else was just chosen. It doesn't matter.
It
doesn't matter.
It
doesn't matter, Brett.
You have to tell.
No, I don't. Go watch it yourself because you don't watch it.
How did she win?
No, I don't. I'm not spoiling it for you.
How did she win?
No,
it must have been a fluke. She must have got slammed through a table and disqualified.
Listen, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because Lana deserved that win. She was the sole survivor, and she celebrated.
Don't worry, WWE Universe. If you're bullied, things will just accidentally happen to you. Just keep on trucking.
It's a great storyline. You've obviously never saw the America Alpha storyline where Chad Gable kept losing match over and over because he couldn't find a partner that was
That's
good
not
enough.
being a geek.
Listen.
That's not being an idiot.
Listen. It's okay, Brett. You're wrong.
All right.
Comments.
The comments are going to tell you if you're wrong.
Listen, no one's going to comment on it because they know I'm right.
Okay.
Listen, I don't care. You listen to that Brian Alvarez. He's overhyped. He's not even good. He probably doesn't even like wrestling. And he's making all these comments about why he doesn't like the ending of this match. Get over himself. Get over yourself.
Get over himself, he says.
Yes.
You need to be bullied.
Listen, I don't need to be. I am the bully. That is what I am.
So why do you love the storyline so much, Bully?
Because it was different.
You like seeing a geek? Come on.
It was absolutely different than a normal bully storyline. I'm tired of seeing...
It was dumber than a regular story.
I'm tired of seeing the bully, like, just keep bullying. All right, that's normal. That's the part that's normal. But I'm tired of seeing the person being bullied get the upset win accidentally over the bully.
It was an accident!
Listen. She didn't.
What do you mean? It was.
No. She didn't beat Nia Jax. She was on the same team as her. That's the whole storyline. Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler, Lana.
It was an accident.
Listen,
what do you mean? The win was an accident. What do you mean?
Listen. It's a different type of accident. All we ever see is like a roll up onto the person.
But why do we have to do an accident? Let me tell you how to end the bully storyline.
How do you?
And you wait until I give you the whole
I'll
thing.
let you do it. Go ahead. Talk.
We don't need you on this team. Stand there and shut up. All right?
Okay.
And then you go and you go and you go and you go. And even let's do Shmada's finish. Let's do the stupid finish. Because they also need to get Bianca Belair over because she's red hot and they need to do something for her and they didn't do anything for her. This stupid storyline to help Lana for no apparent reason she accidentally won the match. So what you do? You have these two idiots. Even, let's say you keep these two idiots. They get counted out because they don't pay attention and they're not good professionals. You have her put Nia Jax through a table.
Lana can't pick up Nia Jax.
She pushes her off the ring. If she does something to put her through a table, you let her get hers on the bully. That's how it is.
Here's the thing. This storyline's not over.
You were getting bullied and you didn't do anything.
That's probably the build-up that they're going to go to for the next part of it.
You were getting bullied.
This isn't the end of the storyline.
But why even have this part where you accidentally did something? You don't help the person getting bullied.
It's the storyline. It's to give the people something different they've never seen.
You didn't help.
You've never seen this from WWE. It's not recycled.
You didn't help.
It's not recycled.
Yeah, man, that doesn't mean they didn't get it out of the landfill.
It was a good storyline. I absolutely loved it. I love the potato that happened between Shayna Baszler and Ruby Riott.
I did enjoy it.
Shin right to the face.
All you're telling me by yelling you enjoyed it is that you're pinhead too.
Listen, I have heard many people
pinheads
enjoy the ending to this match.
Pinheads.
Might have been the best ending on the show.
Pinheads.
I'm just playing. It was not the best ending on the show. But I was a fan of it. I enjoyed it. I thought this was a great way to end it because the match wasn't good. None of the Survivor matches were good. The men's one was god awful. Jesus Christ.
So was the women's.
The women's wasn't as bad as the men's.
The
ending was great.
Could not have been worse, and it's impossible.
The ending was great. You know what I don't like about the men's one? How they just put Braun Strowman in there. No, like they bill him as a monster and no one can beat him. And no one ever beats him in Survivor Series. He has to eliminate himself or no one can touch him.
And then the next day he does nothing.
And
then the rest of the year he does nothing.
Let's actually transition to the men's one because
the
women's one was great and ended great. Fantastic. So we can agree with that.
We'll see what everybody watching this thing.
Listen, if you're watching this podcast, let us know. What did you think about the ending to the ending of the women's Survivor Series match? Because I think it was fabulous that Lana went over like that.
No.
And became a super babyface.
Did not do
someone
anything.
that a lot of Americans, normal Americans, can relate to. Can you relate to Lana? Are you a person who's bullied and thrown through tables over and over and over again? Are you waiting for your moment to come through and to be the person you were born to be, a true American hero? That's what they did to Lana. All right,
men's
now
Survivor
let's go
Series
to
match. Would you please?
Let's go to the men's one. The men's. All right, so let me tell you this. I get the redemption for Raw because they got beat last year at Survivor Series. Mm-hmm. I get that's fine, and they like Raw to be the premiere show. I get that. That's okay. All right. What I didn't get was a Seth Rollins sacrifice, but I think I got some clarity on it because I've been looking. I've been trying to figure out what in the world they were doing. All right, first and foremost,
sacrifice himself so he can go home and be with his pregnant wife.
That's one of the theories. All right, but here's another theory.
You know what I want him to do?
Yeah, what?
Not come back. Stay home. Take care of baby.
Let's talk about the other theory that's out there. That's actually a very valid theory.
Okay.
Seth Rollins refuses to work with Matt Riddle.
Why?
Because Matt Riddle's wife called his wife fat.
So that has something to do with.
So
that makes me and you.
He refuses to work with him, and he told the writers he did not want to work with them.
Oh, so
and since they put him in the match Rollins is like, I'm not going to wrestle in this match.
World Wrestling Middle School.
So we're going to do it my way.
World Wrestling Middle School.
He did his.
I don't think he's good enough to do that. He's not good enough to. We're doing it my way.
I think if there were people in the crowd, I think it would have gotten a big pop.
We're doing it my way.
Well, listen, he got his way.
Which is.
You know what the best thing?
He is just
I know you
awful.
hate him.
He is awful. He is the worst.
You know what the best thing about this men's Survivor Series match was?
What?
Keith Lee got new walkout music. And the whole WWE Universe went insane over it.
That was the best thing about
That was the best thing about it.
Okay.
That was the best thing. His walkout music was brand new, and the WWE Universe went insane on like everywhere. All the streaming things. Everyone was a big fan.
Wow, that was the best part of the match.
Yeah, so... Alright. I'm not a fan of what they did to my boy Otis. Taking the Money in the Bank away from him.
Mm-hmm.
He had a pretty cool, some cool moments in this. The showdown with him and Keith Lee was pretty good. I will say that. I don't know if you watched it, but it was like a test of like strength. Like Keith Lee was running the ropes and trying to shoulder tackle him, and Otis was like, "Yeah!" I love that ridiculous thing he does. The little sway, yeah!
You know what I think.
I know what you think, but Otis is my
I don't
spirit
like
animal. See, I think with some people it works because I don't think you
What
would
am I,
be
7?
I don't think you would be able to take Otis serious as like
No,
a person.
absolutely. I know I can't. I've watched him. I don't take him seriously.
And you know what's crazy? I think
he's a goober.
What I've read is his character in WWE is like his real life persona. Which is why Mandy Rose really wanted to do the storyline with him.
Insufferable.
Because she says he's like one of the best people she's ever met, and that he's like 100% authentic to his character.
Insufferable.
I don't know, man. Like, I think how crazy.
Let's goober it down a little bit, there, buddy.
How crazy is it though with that goober's personality, with that whole storyline? He became like the hottest thing in WWE. Like. He was the hottest thing. He was the hottest attraction.
Man, now, to me that just tells me that just tells me about the WWE fans.
You know how that storyline should have ended? This is what I could have seen the storyline doing. Alright? So you have Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre, okay? I have Otis still having that title, that Money in the Bank, cashing it in at the end of that match and losing.
You know what I think?
And then I think that would allow you to exit that storyline, but end it on a high note.
You know what I think when I hear Otis and Seth Rollins do anything?
What?
You know what I think?
What?
I think, why does this come on USA or Fox when Disney Jr. and Nick Jr. are available? Why are they using these two channels?
I don't know.
When there's these two channels exist.
How are you putting Otis and your boy Seth in the same category? I mean, listen, Otis is a fantastic.
He's a goober.
Wrestler. Yeah, his personality is. You can't have all serious people in the WWE because then it'll just be a bunch of yous.
Yeah, those people
would be terrible.
Those people.
I mean, there's a reason why our podcasts go only 45 minutes. Is because no one can stand being in the same room with you for more than 45 minutes.
Those people open the show. You get a good laugh, and then you have a real show.
It's the same reason why you don't like the New Day.
They are goobers.
Pancakes! And the most popular tag team in the WWE in the last 20 years.
I mean,
First ballot Hall of Famers.
Listen, I get that's the audience.
Listen,
the audience is the Nick Jr. Disney Jr. audience.
Yeah, but why would you create
a World Wrestling Middle School?
Why would you create a product that doesn't cater to the majority of your audience?
Well,
have you ever watched like the show Bar Rescue?
Yes, but
no. Let me get there.
We're saying two different things, brother. But go ahead.
Listen, have you ever watched the show Bar Rescue?
Yeah.
All right. You know when he comes in and he takes a look at the demographics of the area, and then he compares it to what the product that's being provided by the restaurant and the bar is.
Can I interject?
No, not yet, because I'm getting to the point here because
you're saying a lot of this for nothing.
Listen. Let me finish.
Okay.
I'll let you finish.
Okay.
I didn't interrupt you.
Go ahead.
As much as you were so stupid in your ideas about the women's indie.
Go ahead.
All right.
Go ahead.
But so like he says, you have to have the product has to match the demographic.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't have a product for like your restaurant wouldn't be catered to men if there's majority women in the area. Listen, the product for WWE is a bunch of kids.
All right.
and a bunch of kids who watch with their parents.
Right.
The parents are going to watch with the kids no matter what.
Right.
It's about keeping the kid happy.
Right.
You know what the kid loves? The
what
New
the
Day
kid
throwing
loves.
pancakes from their pants out into the crowd.
And that's my point. My problem is not that you cater to your audience now. That's not my problem. My problem is you did it in the first place. My problem is you went out and got that audience. You got stupid. And why?
They had to get that audience because they became a publicly traded company and they couldn't do the things from the Attitude Era anymore.
You don't have... Yeah, so we're a publicly traded company, so now we have to be cringely childish.
Now you have to be fiscally responsible to your investors.
So that's your only two choices.
Listen.
Is to be, hang on, your only two choices is to be Attitude Era or
they tried
unmeasurably childish.
No, they tried the middle ground. You seem to forget that. They tried the middle ground, and it didn't really work that well.
Which is wild.
So they transitioned to a full family-friendly product, which has worked.
Well, man, I can't watch it anymore because I can't.
You don't watch it.
That's what I'm saying. I can't watch it anymore.
Yeah, but like
because it is immeasurably childish.
I love it, man. Like, the product's great.
It kills me.
This product is better than it was 5 years ago, easily better than 5 years ago. It's not as good as the Attitude Era, but nothing will ever be as good as that era was.
I don't compare it to the Attitude Era.
I mean, listen, you're such a huge fan of like that 2005, the Kurt Angle, Randy Orton. That was probably one of my least favorite times.
That was my favorite.
Like, because I was never an Edge fan in his prime. Okay, I was never a Randy Orton fan in his prime.
What was wrong with that?
But I was never a fan of the product that was given there.
Give me what was wrong with it?
Like
it wasn't gooberish enough.
Like there wasn't.
They didn't go.
It was a bunch of seriousness. The Attitude Era was gooberish. You seem to not want to recognize
that's
it.
Why it wasn't my favorite era.
Vince McMahon got hit in the head with a bedpan. That was
hey, you're gonna catch me a hypocrite. That wasn't my favorite era.
But you're like one of the few people who would ever say that.
It was too gooberish.
A wrestling fan says the Attitude Era hands down is the best era of WWE history.
Well, man, I don't know what to tell you. I guess I'm not a real WWE fan.
You like this really stiff, serious wrestling.
My favorite era was like 80s WCW.
90s WCW is better than 80s WCW.
Not like to me.
See, and that's where we differ on that.
Like Sting and Ric Flair and that whole thing, and like the Four Horsemen.
Yeah, but 90s
so
Sting was better than 80s Sting.
That's just better. Sting. But you see what product I go after.
Yeah.
And you see why I cannot watch
stiff men in leotards. That's
I cannot watch this. Yeah. I cannot do it.
Yeah, but if
I want a cartoon, I'll go watch a cartoon.
Listen,
I don't want to watch a grown man in tights pretending to be a cartoon.
The only thing in this Survivor Series pay-per-view
that's my problem with Colby Covington in UFC. He's a cartoon.
The only thing in the WWE Survivor Series 2020 show that was cartoonish was honestly what they did to that's his real life personality.
He's a too cartoonish person.
His character.
Okay, well he's too cartoonish of a person.
Like, I'm not talking about like a defined person's role. I'm talking about like the card itself being gooberish. The most gooberish thing was the Lana thing. The thing that you
it was awful.
But I enjoyed it. Like, and a lot of wrestling
what are we doing here? What is this?
This show didn't really give you much. Alright, because the next match you want to look at, Sami Zayn, Bobby Lashley
was probably not very good.
Listen, what the WWE is wasting the Hurt business. They legitimately should be the new Nation of Domination. 100%. Alright? And listen, you know what? It's time to flip Ricochet. Put him as a bad guy and let him do it, because they're wasting his talent. Because I'm gonna tell you, pound for pound, he might be the best wrestler on that roster. I don't know if you ever watched him as Prince Puma in Lucha Underground, but like this guy, they're wasting his talent just doing stupid storylines.
That's what they do, man.
I know.
They're wasting everybody's talent with stupid storylines. Sami
Zayn hasn't done a good storyline outside of him and Kevin Owens in NXT.
You are saying my entire point right now.
But
they wasted everybody with stupid storylines.
I don't believe it about everything, though. You believe it about everything. I don't believe it about everything. I just think this pay-per-view was like, it gives me the feel that it was just put together last minute. That's what I like about it. But you know what? I've never been a fan of Survivor Series.
Me either.
It's never it's never been my thing.
I don't care.
Like, I don't want to see people who feud against each other team up to try to beat the other brand. I think the brand split makes Survivor Series worse.
Yep.
Okay. I don't like the Royal Rumble. Like, I don't like those. The Royal Rumble's hokey to me.
Royal Rumble's my favorite.
See, it's the hokiest thing ever. I'm gonna throw you over the top rope. Oh, here comes another guy. I'm gonna throw you over the top rope. That's hokey. That's not wrestling.
So you don't like hokey?
I don't like that type of hokey.
Oh!
I don't like that type
What
of
is
hokey.
that type of hokey?
That hokey is like, that's like a seriously choreographed hokiness. Otis's hokiness comes from his natural God-given ability.
What was the hokiness in the Women's Survivor Series match?
The
hokey finish. That hokey shit.
That wasn't a hokey finish.
Oh my God!
That's a legitimate finish.
Man.
A double countout is a legitimate finish that 80s WCW utilized often.
Not the way WWE did.
It just
Don't
so
you tell
happened.
me that when it's a double countout, the match is over.
It just so happened that there was somebody left.
It just so happens that the woman we've been
Survivor
making fun
Series.
of.
Hey, listen. She was a sole survivor, baby. Can't take it away from her. I'm a survivor. I'm not gonna give up. Listen, it's alright, dude. But let me tell you, Sami Zayn, Bobby Lashley was just a bunch of crap. I don't like Sami Zayn as a bad guy. Can I tell you why? I just think it's a forced thing. Because he's
gooberish.
His real life person. Well, his real life personality actually isn't his babyface personality isn't his real life, because in real life he's like a devout Muslim who's like very serious. I don't know if you knew this.
Well, that would be a better character for him. Why not let him be himself?
And I always wondered why, because
why have him sticking around
before you put him in the cargo pants like you have here on the preview right there?
Yeah, idiot.
His writing on the side of his pants was Arabic.
Yeah.
And a lot of people didn't know that.
Well, let's just let him stick around, because that's what Vince McMahon loves, is a good shtick.
Yeah, the issue is, like, if you have him play his real life character like that, the WWE and other wrestling organizations have only spun people of that belief as, like, evil tyranny.
But I'm not saying put him as a Muslim. I'm saying put him as a serious, tough guy. He's a serious, tough guy.
I don't know if he's a serious, tough guy, though. Like I don't know if he's a tough guy. Yep. I just thought that his babyface persona was way better than his bad guy.
I don't like him either one, man, because
really?
he's too sticky.
Have you ever watched his series of matches with Kevin Owens?
I did.
In NXT?
They were good matches. Didn't like what he was doing between the matches.
I mean, they were the build-up for it. You had Kevin Owens, the guy who was the bully. You had Sami Zayn, the guy who was...
Vince McMahon and WWE fans love a good shtick.
Yeah, but the Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens ending the storyline was your type of bullying storyline.
Yeah,
it was 100%.
But see, you know who was my favorite in that? Kevin Owens.
Yeah, because you like the bad guys. You like Randy Orton. You like Edge. You like Edge at the height of his bad persona.
They're more. They are. I believe those people would win in a fight against somebody like
Randy Orton would not.
Sami Zayn.
Randy Orton is like a pansy. Like,
I believe.
If you push Randy Orton, he's going to break a shoulder.
I said believe. I know he will. But if I'm looking at some goober ass...
I'd take Asuka over Randy Orton in a fight.
I probably would too. You're not listening, is the thing here.
I just like to make you mad. This is showbiz, baby. What are we talking about?
You sound like... We don't have a teleprompter back here. That's just what he sounds like.
Exactly. I played myself in real life.
Easy, Seth Rollins.
Listen, don't hate on me because I have all this ability in the world. I am Seth Rollins. That's exactly who I am. I have great athletic ability. You dislike it because I do everything perfectly.
Just can't talk.
He can talk. He just has this raspy voice.
Yeah, man, I have told you 7 million times, and you won't let it go, that it is not the rasp in his voice.
It's the jealousy over him having Becky Lynch.
You know what it is.
I know what it is.
Tell me, he doesn't sound like he has the script at his feet every time he talks.
But here's what I wonder. I wonder if he could real life legitimately talk if they didn't make him have to follow a script.
Probably.
Because I guarantee you he hasn't really flown like I guarantee he hasn't deviated from it because he's kind of like he's kind of like Triple H was to Vince. He's kind of like that role, like the same role. Like he to Triple H
Like
and
he's
to
with
the
Stephanie
guys.
too?
Well, maybe, but I think what it is he's that guy, and Triple H was that guy for Vince, right? So right now he's touted that guy, even though he's not carrying the title, he doesn't have to be that guy.
Triple H deviated some. He did what he wanted to do.
Well, Triple H's mic time was mostly during the Attitude Era. Before that hokey era before, he didn't really deviate at all. It was like you go back and listen to his Hunter Hearst Helmsley, talks. I mean, it's very choreographed, but I guarantee you, it's just he does it because he doesn't want to lose that position. Because he's making a ton of money, and he's not carrying the title. He's not carrying the company.
He's
living the dream.
It doesn't work in my brain when I watch it.
Yeah.
Something doesn't click that I'm like, that I can imagine listening to him talk and somebody enjoying it and like, I'm a fan of him. I don't understand. It won't work in my head.
I think the role...
I'm like, this is so bad.
I think the role that he plays now is the Friday Night Messiah now. But the Monday Night Messiah, Friday Night Messiah. I think that role and the way that he has to speak for that role is probably the best way for him to be since he follows such a choreographed thing.
But I'm talking before that. I can't imagine when he was in the Shield or anything else. I can't imagine.
There's a reason why the Shield never talked except for Dean Ambrose.
I can't imagine turning my channel to USA Network or Fox and hearing him in the middle of a promo and thinking, this is good, I like him. I cannot imagine doing it.
Yeah, I think
Help me with it.
Dean
Explain
Ambrose,
it to me.
Dean Ambrose was probably the only one in the Shield that could talk.
Well, hang on, because it does happen. Explain it to me. Help me.
I think people have different views than you. And you get so caught up. I don't mind it.
You don't mind it?
Like, I don't mind it. I'm not like
you don't mind somebody just being god awful.
I mean, like, he's not.
Don't tell me he's not god awful
in everything he does.
I'm not talking about everything he does.
I don't like his trash talking in the middle of matches.
Brother, but I'm not talking about everything he does. I'm just talking about his talking.
But his segments, like he had with Ray and all that, I thought they were fine. Like, I'm not going to say they were the best. He's the best speaker on the roster because he's not.
I think he's the worst.
But I don't think he's the worst.
I'm putting him worse.
I don't think he's the worst. You ever heard Shayna Baszler try to talk? She can't even speak.
They're the same things.
Like Sami Zayn, he's not like a good talker. He's just passionate.
He's not worse than Sami. He's worse than Sami Zayn.
Like MVP is a terrible talker.
He's worse than that.
But listen, Seth Rollins is not the worst talker in the business.
He's close.
He's not.
He's close.
He's not. And it's okay. His athletic ability makes up for it.
That is what I don't like. Is that when we go back, when we look at WWE or when we think of professional wrestling, you used to have to be able to carry. You used to have to be able to do it. You used to have to be able to do everything. The people
Christopher Waugh was never a talker.
The people at the top, and I didn't like him as champion. The people.
Are you kidding me? He was phenomenal.
No, I didn't like him as champion.
He's a great transitional champion.
Every time he talked, I was like, what an idiot. I wish he'd shut up or put him with a manager. Yeah. What is this?
Which is why he used to have a woman manager in WCW.
Which was the good idea. They handled him right.
Yeah.
When you can't talk, shut up. We'll give you a manager. Yes or no?
I mean, definitely should. I mean, Seth Rollins' manager should be his wife. But she's having a baby.
Yeah. He needs to go home. He needs maternity leave too. He's not out of here.
He's probably going to be gone for a little while.
Good.
So you'll be.
I might start watching again. Good.
You'll be happy. Have you seen the Murphy storyline right now?
No.
You know, Murphy is smooching up on Ray's daughter. And like it made Ray incensed and stuff, and apparently like Murphy's had like a little flip, right? He's gone good, and he walked Ray and Dominic out for their little battle royal on the pre-show. It's kind of cool. Right? A lot of people were upset though, and a lot of people upset because number one, they're racist, all right? Because they didn't like the fact that there was a white guy and a Mexican girl there. All right, number two, like there's like a 15-year age gap. Yeah. Like she's like 18 or 19 or something, and he's like 30 something.
Oh yeah, pal.
So, like there was just a lot of issues with it, but I thought it was actually kind of a cool little storyline.
Pal.
anytime you involve people's kids or whatever in the storyline, I'm a fan of it.
What else is big? What else you want to talk about before we get out of here on Survivor Series?
Yeah, Asuka Sasha Banks match really upset me, and I'll tell you why. I don't like champion versus champion matches where no one can go over. Right? I have an issue with that.
Yeah.
Right? Like they're the two top women right now in the wrestling business,
yeah.
right? That's what it's being pegged as. Okay? One of them's got to go over. They're not equally as good. Asuka's better than Sasha Banks.
Yeah.
And everyone knows that Vince hates Asians. Like, that's why that's why she lost her first WrestleMania.
Yeah.
She comes off on a 1.5-year win streak and loses her first match at Wrestle. Come on.
Hilarious.
Right? It was, like, stupid. That was a youth move, okay? But here's the thing. No one expects Sasha Banks to beat Asuka. If you're going to put Sasha Banks over, make it more definitive and make her a legitimate champion. She's just coming off beating Bayley. Asuka's still like the unstoppable force. Okay? They have the potential to do a real good wrestling match. Better than most men on the roster. Let them flourish and do it. Don't do some like you thought the ending to the Women's Survivor Series was stupid.
Tell what it was.
I hate the ending to this one. Just the roll up, the accidental win finisher. Like, it's stupid.
Well, you don't like accidental wins, do you?
Yeah. Not in that case.
Man, wow!
Not in that case.
Accidental wins aren't that good.
Yeah, but like we're talking like two champions, and then you're talking about just people who don't matter.
Accidental wins aren't that good, he says.
Yeah.
31 minutes into it, he says, accidental
like
wins aren't good.
I like it in the Lana match. I don't like it in the Asuka Sasha Banks match. Because I think
very picky.
You're talking about like your top two women. Let someone go over. Let someone go over.
I agree.
And like,
and if you're trying to get somebody over, let her go over.
No one really went over in that match, and that's what upset me about it.
I didn't think she went over in the
She did though. You're actually wrong about that.
Wait,
like,
I know you
disdain for it.
I understand the crowd she went over.
Yeah.
I just think that's ridiculous.
Yeah, but
because
that's what people wanted. They gave the people what they wanted. Dude.
Man, that's why I can't watch it.
That's okay. You don't have to. I'll watch it for us.
God.
Alright, the Goobly Gooker or whatever, he made his return to Survivor Series and won the 24/7 champion.
Yeah.
R-Truth is a 48-time 24/7 champion.
Yeah.
Alright, first of all, R-Truth, I just love the role. I think he's older now, his body's a little more banged up, so they're trying to protect him. His segments are always the highest rated on the show, it seems like. Everyone loves it. He brings more legitimacy to that title than a 24/7 hardcore title ever had. And people just enjoy it, but that's because R-Truth makes it that way.
I'm talking about it.
Alright, listen. Let's go scroll over so I can see some other things.
Here I'm talking about the 24/7.
I think it's kind of cool, man.
Oh, yeah.
Rob
you
Gronkowski.
Jesus Christ.
It's a cool way to get people involved. Okay. Roman Reigns, Drew McIntyre. I'm gonna be honest with you. I fell asleep in the middle of the match. I didn't see the end of it.
The match was stupid. Finish was stupid.
What was the finish for it? Explain that to me.
One of those. I don't know which one of them Usos that just got kicked out of the family. Came in and botched the finish up, and it.
So who actually won the match?
Roman
Reigns did.
Yeah, Roman Reigns did.
So did the Uso brother come in to help Roman or make him lose?
Help him.
Okay, so what happened is the storyline is at the beginning, the men's one in the very front of the match, the Uso brother, Jey Uso, I think, right? He was the last survivor for the SmackDown team, and he couldn't pull out the win, and he couldn't eliminate anyone. And then Roman Reigns is like, you don't have a seat at my table anymore. So then the flip is, Uso turning heel to get a seat back at the table, which is what's going to happen is the other Uso will come back from his surgery and they'll feud probably, and then it'll lead to the Usos going back heel totally completely. And then you're going to have hopefully The Rock come in. So that actually I guess makes sense to me as that. But once again, these are two champions that you can make neither one of them stronger than each other. The WWE's in an
There's no reason
impossible
to have
position.
these matches.
This match would be great if Roman Reigns was a champion and McIntyre was going for the title.
Yeah.
If McIntyre is not the other champion, this match is a great idea. But the fact that you can't legitimately put either one of them over each other.
Yeah, these matches, these ideas are bad.
Champion versus champion matches are typically bad.
Yeah,
anyways.
don't do that.
Do you how did you feel about the old school? Was it WrestleMania 3, Hulk Hogan versus Ultimate Warrior, Intercontinental title versus the WWF title? Did you ever watch that match?
Yep.
Like, what did you think of that? Champion versus champion. But in that case, somebody went over, right?
Yeah, but one's an Intercontinental and one's...
Yeah.
I mean, it's not...
So, like, but did you like that match?
Yeah.
You like the concept behind it? I like the step-up match, because, like, the IC title used to be the one, that was your workhorse who really carried the company, and then traditionally could be next in line to be the title holder.
I mean, that's how...
I thought that was a cool thing.
That's how this and WCW was. The United States title, the U.S. title was usually the guy that was going to get the
Your two WWE, like, champions going at each other? Waste of time.
Yeah. What are we doing here?
Man. But golly, could you imagine if this match, like, the whole flipping the title thing kind of confused me between, alright, Randy Orton wins the title at the pay-per-view, then he loses the title on Raw back to Drew McIntyre?
Yeah.
Do you think they had cold feet? Do you think that, like, Randy Orton couldn't give a good match with Roman Reigns?
No, I think they're both heels.
Like, well, yeah, I guess that's it. So you don't want to turn Randy Orton back babyface.
Yeah, I think it
was.
was...
But man, I would have loved to see...
They do stuff all the time for no reason.
I would have loved to see Randy Orton versus Roman Reigns, even if they're both heel.
Yeah, they do. They
but
do
not
stuff,
as champion versus
They
champion.
do stuff all the time for no reason.
Yeah.
They just do stuff.
Yeah.
And then like, never mind.
This pay-per-view, I think they were just trying it, right?
Never mind.
I think they were trying the whole idea of... You remember WCW used to do like all the titles on the line for that? What was it? Clash Champions was originally WCW.
Clash Champions.
Yeah. So it was kind of like that, except it was champion versus champion.
They did this. Didn't they do this last 2 years?
I can't remember.
Last 2-3 years.
It might be. I just don't think it
was. And it hadn't won. Yeah, because it was Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar.
God, that was such a terrible match.
And it's like, man, who cares?
Yeah, I really like Drew McIntyre as a champion.
Or no, it was AJ Styles and Brock Lesnar was the first one. AJ Styles and Brock Lesnar was the first one.
Oh yeah, it's right down there.
Versus champion.
Look at that.
Yeah, that was the first champion versus champion, and it's like, who cares?
Yeah. Man, AJ Styles. I want him to have one last good run before.
Well,
talking about a last good run.
There wasn't one.
At the end of an era.
There wasn't one. There wasn't a last good anything at the end of this. It was the Undertaker thing.
The Undertaker thing. Yeah. Man, I'm mixed of feelings about this one.
Yep.
Okay. Because I've read a lot about people really liking it. I've read a lot about a lot of people really hating it. I've read a lot about people wanting them to keep the legends in the ring. Why didn't they do that? And I've read a lot of he wanted to go out on his own terms and be in character while doing it. You know, there's so much about this last segment that doesn't really make sense to me. All right, I like bringing the legends out. Okay, first off, Shawn Michaels shouldn't have been out there. I know they wrestled each other twice back-to-back WrestleManias, probably two of the better Undertaker matches, but in real life they're not friends. They don't really like each other. And Shawn Michaels went on record this week saying they're not really friends. So I don't understand that coming out. First off, where was Stone Cold?
Yeah.
Why was he not there?
Yeah.
Because when you think Undertaker and you think Attitude Era, you think the Ministry of Darkness and crucifying, Stone Cold on the big T. Remember the lowercase t? It wasn't a cross. A lowercase t, as Bruce Pritchard would say. Like, where was he in that?
Yeah.
Alright, I like bringing Mick Foley out. The Godwins was so great to see. I was a big fan of the Godwins during their time of hokiness. I was a really big fan of them, actually. I used to run around yelling Suey. Suey! And they had Sonny for a while as their manager. I don't know if you remember that. You might be a little too young for that. But, so I thought bringing them out was phenomenal, dude. What a great tribute. There was some legends ushering you into retirement, right? Like, that's what it's kind of about, right? Like, these guys don't wrestle anymore. Hey, man, it's all right, dude. You're part of us now. Come on with us. Passing the torch. But, like, for them just to come out and just, like, hug each other, shake hands with each other, and then get out of the ring, and then Vince McMahon comes in along, why wouldn't they stay in with Vince in there? And then, next thing, Vince McMahon looks like he might die soon.
Well.
Like, I don't know I can't remember how old he is, But he stopped doing his treatment. He probably was filled with Botox and everything. He's probably just at the point now where he's just ready to move on.
Looks like WWE's about to get good, huh?
I think they're going to sell it for anything. I don't think it goes to Triple H.
Really?
I think that Vince is legitimately going to sell it, and they're just going to get out. The family's going to get out of the business altogether.
There you go.
All right, imagine if Tony Khan bought it.
Yeah.
Like AEW becomes the new thing.
Hilarious.
And but listen, their last pay-per-view was good. This Eddie Kingston guy from AEW, who was like an independent wrestler, like a nobody, who they brought in and did a feud with Jon Moxley, is freaking amazing. His mic skills, freaking amazing. He's your type of guy. But he's like an upstate New Yorker, got that accent, but he kind of reminds me of Taz, like in his like kind of heyday.
Yeah.
His mic skills are great. That match they did where like Jon Moxley wrapped barbed wire around his forearm and put him in a submission. Listen, the match was gruesome. I loved it. And they're doing a lot of good stuff. Where AEW fails is their tag team division's not as strong because like they just have the Young Bucks and they just have the guys who left WWE. Everyone else is just really not there. They're splitting up like Pentagon Jr. and Ray Phoenix, which no one knew before AEW, but they're brothers in real life. In Lucha Underground, they feuded against each other in some of the most brutal feuds, which makes sense why they did all those spots, because they trust each other, because they're family, which no one knew. But like they would have been a great tag team to carry it, but like they're kind of splitting them in their separates because they're really good individual workers, which is good too. But so like they're struggling there, and their women's division is god awful. And which it's like WWE's women division before they were even divas. Like it's that bad. Like there's no one. They have Dr. Britt Baker. She's like a dentist character, and she's a former NXT wrestler. Yeah. She's pretty good, but she actually legitimately got injured, hadn't been able to do anything, and so that's actually pretty bad. But so it'd be interesting to see. They were talking, Kenny Omega, who's vice president of AEW, was talking about he'd be interested in a talent swap with WWE if they ever wanted to do it. Send some people here, send some people there. But he says he thinks Vince uses it too much like a WWE WCW feud. Yeah. And that's not their focus in it. But back to The Undertaker, an icon. We've actually been privileged to grow up in a time period where we've been able to see the greatest wrestlers of all time. Mm-hmm. Ric Flair was towards the end of his first career in WCW when WCW was going out of business. But that last match, on that last Monday Night Raw, Sting versus Ric Flair was still a classic. And still a classic to this day in my mind, okay? And I mean, it's not Clash of Champions 88, but you know what? For the end of his career, pretty dang good match. But we've been able to see Ric Flair in the twilight of his career, and then the super twilight of his career. Even the super twilight, he did good. All right, we've been able to see Sting in his twilight, in his peak. We saw like Kevin Nash, Scott Hall in their peak. We saw Hulk Hogan in his second peak because he had his first one in WWE before we were born, but his second peak happened in WCW and it was just as big, if not bigger. All right. We've seen Edge. We've seen the Hardy Boys. We've seen the Dudley Boys. We've seen, Edge and Christian as a tag team, I value that more than Christian individually. We've seen Randy Orton. We've seen Kurt Angle. We've seen Chris Benoit before he went crazy. We've seen Eddie Guerrero. Yeah, Eddie. We saw The Undertaker. All right. Listen, in his 30 years in the business, I still consider him the measuring stick. Yeah. Right? And it's so weird because when we talk Mount Rushmores of wrestling, he might not make a lot of people's list because they think Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan, Shawn Michaels, or like Stone Cold, The Rock. A lot of people leave him off, but a lot of people leave him off because he didn't have to have a title belt to make his character relevant. Yeah. Hulk Hogan needed a title belt. Yeah. He needed it. Ric Flair didn't need it when he had the Horsemen, right? But it made sense for the Horsemen to carry the title belts, right? Right. Stone Cold, his character before the Attitude Era, there's no chance for anything being successful. His character during the Attitude Era, everybody wanted the title on him. It made sense to put it on him. This guy, he didn't need it.
Nope.
And it's the same reason why Bray Wyatt, as the Fiend, doesn't need the title.
Yeah.
And Undertaker loves that character, by the way.
He should.
So, but the ending, man, it kind of choked me up a little because I woke up for it, man. Like I watched this part at 3 a.m, and here comes, they showed a little video. I love the highlight stuff. I love that stuff. I love tribute stuff, to be honest with you. And he comes out, and the line he uses, I wish I remembered it right off my head right now, but he uses that line about like it's now time for the Undertaker to rest in peace. I thought that was perfect, and that was great. I thought the tribute to Paul Bearer was perfect and great. By the way, his family from Georgetown, South Carolina, really cool thing. But I think at the end of it, while he's in character trying to get out there, that's when you rush in all the superstars.
Yeah.
And be on the ramp while he's trying to maintain character. Get him to break kayfabe his last time.
Should have.
That's how you end that.
Yeah.
Hire me, WWE.
They are too stupid. And that's where we're in that Ron. I got to get to the comedy club.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to tonight's episode of the Walrus and the Comic Podcast. We've brought you Survivor Series 2020, Brett's favorite pay-per-view of 2020.
Yeah.
Like us, subscribe us, follow us, share it on Facebook, Instagram, wherever you want. We'll see you next time.
Woo.